Welcome, everyone, to You Were Made for Victory. I'm Victoria Reed, and this week's message is how to see a miracle. You know, God is a God of miracles, and He has made us to experience miracles and to be used by Him to see miracles happen for others. And you know, over the years, God has taught me a lot of things, and God taught us how to fight the good fight of faith in the trenches with a battle with my daughter, about 7 years ago now, where she was literally fighting for her life with Lyme disease. Literally, she went from being completely healthy and vibrant, athletic, playing high-level basketball, honor student, to bedridden, couldn't read, couldn't add, obviously could not play basketball, and all kinds of symptoms, pain, heart palpitations. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And there were many other things that were going on. There was scoliosis and pain and a black mold toxicity and just a number of things, too many things to list here in this short video. But God led us through this trial, and He clearly spoke to me after she had been getting some natural treatments and things to build her immune system and detoxify her body and do all these things. And He said, "It is time for my daughter," meaning Jessica. He is her father and she is His daughter. "It's time for my daughter to experience my power for herself." And so God spoke to me and told me to take her to a healing and miracles service that was going to be in Missouri. And here I was in Bradenton, Florida, and I was going to need to drive to go to this healing miracle service. And I have to say, not too many people were like, "Hey, that's a great idea. You should do that." But I will tell you that when God gives you a word, you need to hold on to that. And you need to move forward with that. And I know that God spoke that to me. And so we heard about these services. I heard about this pastor who believed the word of God and saw miracles happen all the time. And so we believed it. We decided to go there, put our faith in action, and literally saw hundreds of people healed that night. Blind eyes open, deaf ears open, people being able to walk from wheelchairs, disease healed. My daughter was healed of Lyme disease, mold toxicity, completely pain-free from her dealing with scoliosis pain. And God taught us a lot about how to see a miracle. And this literally changed our life. We went from a situation that seemed hopeless according to the doctors, according to the statistics, according to the medical diagnoses, because there were many, way too many. But we knew who we were. We knew we were at war. We knew this was not God's will for Jessica. He's a good father, and that Jesus had paid for her healing. I didn't know exactly how this was all going to work out, but we trusted God. We believed God, and by faith, we put all of this into action, and we received, by faith, this miracle. I watched my daughter go from tired and just not herself at all to completely transformed. The drive home, she was vibrant and talking and back to her old self, and just literally almost talked the entire way home, instead of being in bed for 18 hours a day and not being able to function. So God is a God of miracles. And you know, this reminds me of a story in the Bible where a woman had been dealing with hemorrhaging and bleeding for many, many years. I believe it was 12 years. And she heard about Jesus, number one. Number two, she believed who He was. And number three, she said out loud, "If I could just get to Jesus and touch the hem of His garment, I shall be made whole. So she heard about Jesus. Remember, faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. She believed who he said he was. And she made up her mind that if she could just get to him and then spoke it out loud, that she shall be made whole just by touching the hem of his garment. She had to press through the crowd. You know, we had a lot of obstacles when I had to take my daughter to this healing miracle service. We didn't have much support from people, and we broke down on the way there. And there was a lot of stuff that tried to come against us and stop us from getting into that service. But my daughter is whole and healed and has been from that time. We have learned how to defend the healing and fight the good fight of faith. And it is my heart and my passion to equip people to learn how to do the same thing. It's all in the Word of God. It's all part of our inheritance. We just need to know how to appropriate the Word of God by faith and see it happen and manifest in the physical realm. So, you know, this woman with the issue of blood had to press through the crowd. She was getting stepped on, kicked on. There were a number of factors why she shouldn't even have been doing that. She was supposed to be isolated. When you're bleeding like that, it was their culture that you were unclean. You had to be separated. She could be stoned to death for being out in public and bumping into all these people in this crowd. She literally had to crawl to get there. And I remember telling Jessica when we broke down, I said, no matter what, we're getting there. No matter what. The devil tried to discourage me, tried to tell me we weren't going to be able to go. I should just go home and take a nap because I was tired. And my daughter, Jessica, in the back, who was kind of skeptical about this whole thing from the beginning, literally faith rose up in her and she said, well, Mom, you know Jesus is going to heal me because the devil sure doesn't want us to go. And I'm going to tell you, that quickened in my spirit. I knew right then we were going no matter what. And we got to that service and we saw the miracle working power of God. You know, God works through all kinds of people everywhere. But God told me to go specifically here. He has reasons why. He has his ways. This pastor just believed God, preached the word, and would see the word confirmed with signs, wonders, and miracles. Humility of heart, but yet bold in his assurance that Jesus is who he says he is. And we have what he says that we have. And so this woman, she presses through and she extends out. She reaches out and touches the hem of Jesus' garment. And Jesus stopped. And there was a whole crowd bumping around him. And he said, someone touched me. And there were tons of people touching him. But he said, no, I felt power go out of me. See, this woman with the issue of blood put a demand by exercising her faith. Now, she wasn't demanding that Jesus heal her. You have to do this for me. But her faith, she was so convinced that Jesus is who he says he is. She believes he'll do what he can do. And that if she could just touch his garment, she shall be made whole. She prophesied it. She spoke it out loud. She believed it. She put her faith in action. She pressed through the crowd. And when she reached out and touched the hem of his garment, Jesus himself said, wait, I felt power go out of me. And he turned to her and they met eyes. And he said, daughter, your faith has made you whole. See, faith is important to God. And our faith is a big part of seeing a miracle. We've got to believe who Jesus is. And we've got to believe that we have what he says we have. And we've got to put our faith in action. And then we're going to see it in our own lives, and we're going to see it in other people's lives. So God has made you for miracles. And I have many, many other stories of miracles. My son was healed of a back condition where Jesus literally grew his leg out longer than it had to be. It was too short and grew out, and he was completely free from the back pain that he had been suffering with. There are many, many stories, but all of them have to do with faith. And Jesus wants this for us. He wants us to get this. So Jesus wants us to see miracles. Well, we love you and we're praying for you, and we will see you next week here on You Were Made for Victory.